They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into episode number 4 of The Scope. I am graciously joined by Tom Henderson. As you can see, he has stopped his snowmobile to talk to us here. You can see him right there. We won't be able to see his mouth move because he's following proper masking protocols and everything like that, just to keep everybody safe. But here he is. And how are you doing?
Hey man, how's it going? Yeah, I've got to hold on to my son as well, make sure he doesn't fall off. So,
right. So that's definitely important. But that is the world famous red snowmobile. And last time we talked, I expected some red snowmobile merch, and I haven't seen it yet, so I'm a little upset.
yeah, I'm just gonna wait on the merch for a little bit, just a little bit.
I get that. So we'll get right into it. I don't want to beat a dead horse about Battlefield 2042. We all know the backstory on how big of a disappointment and stuff it was. Since I had you here, I kind of wanted to talk about the future of it a little bit more, and something that you tweeted out this morning. I saw it on Reddit, I think last night, and I thought it was pretty crazy. I know you've consulted like legal counsel in the past as to what's going on with everything, but the refund on change.org actually is pretty wild to me, how many people are signing it. And I mean, is there any merit to that, or do you think it's just like it's going to be kind of like sending a message type thing?
Yeah, I think it's on like 10,000 signs now. I think maybe I tweeted it out this morning and it was on 3,700. But I don't think that it's going to necessarily do anything in terms of getting people the refunds. But what it's likely to do is gain traction for the media to pick it up, and the analysts, investors, believe it or not, they're always watching these types of things. I know the petition says they're going to get legal counsel involved and it gets to 50,000 signs, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But it's more so just bringing awareness to the whole situation, because despite the situation with Battlefield, I feel like not a lot of people have really been picking up on it as much as the likes of Anthem and stuff. Maybe it's just because of the stuff that I've been doing and the reporting of it. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I would have expected a lot more people to pick up on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I as well, because I mean, that's just a massive sentiment. But I mean, if I think back on it, like technically they really didn't break anything that they didn't promise, right? Like there's nothing promised that's not coming. Pretty much all they have to come up with are the battle passes and the specialist. If I recall, I don't know in the material if there was even anything about new maps that they have to do. I could totally see them just doing the bare minimum to avoid such a lawsuit and then end it the way it's going.
Yeah, just solely based on the legal wording of everything that they've done is it's just that all they need to do is do 4 battle passes, release 4 specialists, and then that's it. They don't need to do any maps. They don't need to add any weapons. If they wanted to, obviously they are going to add new maps and weapons, etc., just because from a moral standpoint they want to give the fans more content and put a little bit more faith back in the fans. But I mean, it could either go either way. I think a lot is riding on season 1. There is so much riding on season 1.
Yeah, I mean, my memory's short because I'm getting really old, but I can't think of a more important patch in a video game that's going to determine its future than season 1 for Battlefield, where they delayed it. The community is already, like, the player numbers are already on live support, and I have a question about that in a second. But if that doesn't deliver, it has to be over, and you have to wonder. I don't think for the franchise. Again, in that earnings call, the last EA earnings call, I was incredibly surprised by the small percentage of net bookings that Battlefield brings in. That 5 to 10%, and you talked about it in your video as well, shocked me. I thought it was much bigger than that. The way they talked about it in the previous earnings call before that one, they talked about their flagship franchises in Battlefield, Apex, and FIFA. But this next one, it was just about Apex and FIFA pretty much, which was pretty crazy. But yeah. Are those, so we've all kind, I was going to ask you, we've all kind of seen the Steam numbers, and I know you've mentioned some other numbers before. To the best of your knowledge, does that trend, this was a question from Does that trend continue to the other consoles and stuff? Like, I mean, they lost
All right.
90% on Steam.
Yeah, so I've seen the only accurate numbers that I've seen was based on how many people have been playing the game. It wasn't in regards to purchases or anything like that, and that was way back. That was Thanksgiving time, and from the calculations that I did, looking at the total play numbers and then looking at Steam, looking at the exact date, the exact time, Steam currently equated back then for 20% of the total Battlefield audience that was playing Battlefield 2042. So
Wow.
if that trend has continued on throughout this entire process, then we can assume, if I think there's 4,000 max playing right now on Steam, that could be potentially only 20,000 people playing Battlefield 2042. Now, as well as this, what I heard a couple of weeks ago is that there was around 50,000 people playing total across all platforms, and it seems from the calculations I did back then that 20% number is still pretty accurate.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
it
pretty
doesn't
close.
seem, yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a massive fall off between consoles for whatever reason. I was expecting there to be a pretty significant jump in players over Christmas time, and there wasn't, which isn't really out of the ordinary for a Steam game because people are most likely to get physical copies on console instead of Steam keys or whatever it may be. Um, but yeah, it seems like the 20% number is still fairly accurate at the moment.
Yeah, and it was just crazy to me. The thing that really struck me is like not soon after that, when Xbox put out their monthly list of top 50 most played games, Battlefield wasn't even on there, and that like a AAA shooter on console, because I mean there's not as quite as much variety in games on console as there is on say Steam on PC in general, and to have it fall off below like Black Ops 3 from what was that from like 2016, it just like games old games were way above it on that list, and I just very surprised at that. um
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wasn't surprised, but yeah, I think everybody knows my thoughts on Battlefield 2042.
Yep,
It's a tragedy, and yeah, season one needs to be immaculate.
does. So as far as the future goes, one of the big questions that I've had, I'm pulling up his tweet right now, is Marcus Leto, who is now charging up or in charge of an unnamed studio in Seattle that's going to work with the Battlefield franchise moving forward. And kind of along those lines, it doesn't seem, especially from what they've said, that EA is really going to like stop Battlefield. Maybe this one, Anthem style, but I don't think the franchise is going to stop based on all the hirings they've done with Vince, Leto, Rebecca Kutaz over in DICE, and things like that. Marcus Leto has since tweeted this tweet I want to reference. He said, "I can't say much about what is happening, but can say that I'm glad to be working with lots of very talented devs at EA, DICE, Ripple Effect, as well as my new unnamed Seattle studio who genuinely care about Battlefield." And then there's a lot of people who are in there, saying we need to get rid of specialists, we need this change in multiplayer, we need to redesign the maps. And my biggest like reservation about the whole thing with him is the way I understood it, he was going to work on like not necessarily a campaign mode, but more like a story type mode. And like I just don't see, everyone's pointing to him as the savior, and it's like I don't know how much influence he really has on multiplayer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're exactly right, and I think the community has just gone to him just because he's simply speaking out. Right? He's just being as transparent as possible, and that's what we need as as a Battlefield community, especially in a time like this where we're all starving for information, and now everybody's going over to Marcus saying this, this, and this. And with the tweet that you just referenced, that, in my opinion, that isn't referencing Battlefield 2042. That's referencing the stuff that he's currently working on now. What you've got to bear in mind is that the game that is coming out next for Battlefield has already been in development for 6, 7, 8 months at this point, and they have to build the story around it. They have to do this, this, and this. And from my understanding, Battlefield 2042 was meant to be the cornerstone. It was meant to be the foundation for Battlefield. But with how things have turned out with Battlefield 2042, is that I'm not entirely sure on how exactly there's been a pivot or anything like that. Um, so it's going to be interesting to see what does come out as from Max's new studio. Because from my understanding, and I said this in a recent video, is that DICE are still now working on Battlefield 2042. What you've got to bear in mind is that DICE are working on fixing Battlefield 2042, but they're also working on the next game. So the resources are just spread out everywhere. It's not the whole studio working on BF 2042. It's not the whole studio working on the next game, this, and this. It's just a mess at this moment in time. And Ripple Effect, who were meant to be doing the DLC for Battlefield 2042, are still helping DICE improve the core game of Battlefield 2042. And from my understanding, what was said after the earnings call, if people are in the chat and they're not aware, is that there is basically a second earnings call, which is just for analysts to ask more questions and for EA to emphasize on comments and maybe in some areas maybe just clear things up. And from what they said is that Ripple Effect are still helping Battlefield 2042, and Marcus's studio are on essentially standby as additional resources for Battlefield 2042. But from my understanding, at the moment, Marcus's studio is solely working on the next game.
And the way I understood it, also Ripple Effect is also doing Portal from the JA Weeb or Wybe or whatever. He's pretty active on Twitter too, taking people's feedback about Portal. So yeah, it seems like Ripple Effect is still doing a lot as well. And I can't help but think where they're not tied to anything as far as like map numbers or numbers of weapons or anything like that, that this is really going to cut into the live service. They're still trying to get the core game working. So I feel like down the road, we're probably not going to get as much as we would like. And like along those lines, like you touched on it. It's like, I've seen very few people that really like the specialist. I mean, it just seems to be a general sentiment across the community that the class system would be much preferred over the specialist. But I see why maybe higher management would have made the specialist decision, because they have Apex under their umbrella and all kinds of hero shooters and stuff like that are really good for microtransactions. And the last thing I heard from your reports were that they're doubling down on that, and the next one's going to have specialists. Do you think there's any way they could pivot that, or how they could even rework these specialists to bring people back? Because I feel like the specialists are a really big deal breaker for a lot of people. I don't know how they pivot from that, or if they even do.
So it's my understanding that there is going to be. I mean, what we've got to bear in mind here, I mentioned this, is that we are so early in the development stage that things can change. And if you're not aware of how things can change, then I would definitely recommend people checking out the Battlefield 2042 development video I did, because it just shows of how fluid this whole process is. It could have been the case of, I've heard something 2 months ago. I know the game could have been completely 180'd. Classes could return this, and this. And at the moment, what I've heard is that specialists are planned to continue to be incorporated in Battlefield, just simply because of the monetization, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is where Max's studio has come in, because what you've got to think about with specialists is that I personally think at the moment with Battlefield 2042 is that specialists we're viewing them as a community as they are just there for monetization, which they are. But in order for us to get connected with the specialists, there must be background stories. We must know more about the character, like we did with Irish and the Exodus short film that they did. And obviously with Irish, there's all the past games and stuff like that. But we need to get more connected with the specialists. I think that the likes of Apex Legends does that really, really well. If there's a Pathfinder skin and you're a Pathfinder main, and you're attached to that character because he's funny and he's got quirky abilities and this, that, and that, then you're more likely to purchase them. And I think that's where Marx's studio is going to come in, is to give a lot more depth to the specialists, and not necessarily it's a campaign or whatever it may be. And that's what we've got to think about with the future of Battlefield as well, is that we can't just keep looking at Marcus and looking at his studio, because he's doing the story stuff. He's not necessarily doing
Right.
weapon balancing, scoreboards, whatever
It's cool.
else people have problems with this game. It's more so the lore of the game and the story of the game, which is obviously something that BF2042 lacks, in my opinion.
Right, and that's that's why I've seen, people saying, he's, look what Marcus said, he's fixing everything, and I'm just kind of sitting in the corner going, I don't know, guys. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
definitely
yeah.
wanted to touch on that with you, because I don't think he has much say on things like that, like scoreboards and multiplayer.
If you look at what Marcus is saying, try and look at it from the point of view as, is he really saying this about Battlefield 2042, or is he saying this about the next game, or just Battlefield in general? Because I think if you look at it like that, you'll actually see that a lot of the stuff that he's saying is more so surrounding Battlefield in general rather than the specific game.
But yeah, it could very easily be referencing the next thing that they're working on. Yeah, true. Rather than fixing what we have now that we're probably gonna have for at least 2 years or so. Along those lines, so I feel like a lot of these, based on what some past developers and stuff have said, I feel like a lot of these decisions come from upper management, and I'm always curious as to like how high up do you think these decisions are made? Does this like come down from EA, or is it, for stuff like
Right.
you have to stay with specialists?
Yeah, so I mean, upper management and EA, it's hard to separate them, right? Because I mean, really, they are just one company if you think about it. From my understanding, is that EA will say to DICE, "We want a Battlefield game. Here's the data to support that. This, and this is doing well." So, for example, they would have done it with Battlefield 5 and Firestorm. They would have gone, "Look how good the Battle Royale genre is doing. Look at all these numbers. Can you do it? Get on with it," kind of thing. And I think that's what they've done with the specialist. They've looked at all of the data from Apex Legends, which of course is huge for EA, and they've looked at even Call of Duty with their specialists, and they've just said, "We want you to replicate this," and then it falls onto DICE and DICE management to then make whatever the EA has said a reality. And that's where the kind of difference lies, in the fact that everyone's blaming EA, but it's not just EA, it's DICE as well. And obviously DICE is not DICE that we knew 10 years ago, right?
Right, and that's what that was actually exactly my next question. Is, I mean, this pretty much, from my opinion, has to be why a lot of those developers have left and started studios like Embark. I can't imagine, kind of slapping your name on a game in the credits, and then it's not what you want to make. It's not what the community wants to make. And I could see that, being a reason for changing scenery and starting your own studio. Makes total sense.
Yeah. From my understanding, a lot of the guys died just because they wanted more creative freedom. It wasn't like, for example, I don't think that Embark right now are working on a Battlefield competitor. I just don't see it happening. I think it's more so that they wanted more creative freedom with everything that they wanted to do, and the way that EA views things, because, well, they are a business. We've got to remember that they are a business. They have to make money, and they just look at numbers. They don't really want
Right.
to take any risks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if they see a Battlefield that's done 10 million units sold previously, well, they're just going to say, "Well, I don't care about this new third-person alien war game that you want to do. I want another Battlefield."
Right. Yep, that makes total sense. And just to put a bow on this, like going forward, I see them trying to take the specialists, and if I had to predict, then just kind of reworking them and putting them into more class type groupings and on the HUD and stuff like that, to kind of still keep specialists, but kind of give people the illusion of a class system. Maybe tie some weapons to a group of specialists, but I think definitely keep the specialists is what's going to happen, and kind of try to find a happy medium. It's like my guess on what they're going to do. And the last thing was, I thought it was absolutely insane how Andrew Wilson, CEO of EA, said, I think it was kind of like a low-key shot at DICE, saying, they've done this before. They've had to go back and fix stuff and make the community happy. They're good at it, and they'll do it again. Like that was just one of my biggest observations from that earning call. I couldn't believe he said that.
Yeah, yeah. I I mean, I don't really want to throw anyone whatever, but the way that I see Battlefield 2042 development and management and this and whatever is that it looks like it was just made by one person and then 1,000 people had to do what the one person wanted, right? I just do not understand why specialists couldn't be put into classes like we all wanted. We were saying this since we heard about classes, even before the technical playtest. Even when I started to do the leaks, it was under everyone's impression that these specialists were going to be tied to classes, and it just never happened. And yeah, it's just crazy. That's how it seems to me. Is that a lot of the decisions made in this game just ultimately ended up on one person's lap, and maybe people didn't want to speak out and push back on ideas or anything like that. I'm not entirely sure, just with the way that the gaming industry is going at the moment, with all of these accusations and sexual harassment and stuff like that. But one thing that I will say with EA is that during all of my research and speaking to developers and stuff like that, is that they actually do have a very good work culture compared to a lot of different companies, which is a really nice thing to say. But I mean,
Yeah,
in times like these, people don't really want to hear that, right? They want to know what the hell's gone on with the favorite franchise.
right. And
Um,
I noted that as well going through those Glassdoor reviews. Everyone said it was a great place to work, like for all the things that, are related to workplace and working conditions, and there wasn't as bad a crunch as other studios and things like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, everybody knows that the recipe for a successful Battlefield has been spelled out by the community since Battlefield 5 came out. I mean, it's
mm,
in
yeah,
in a nutshell, we want a modern game, basically gunplay and balance like Battlefield 4 and vehicles and maps, and some of the movement mechanics and some of the updates that Battlefield 5 had, mechanics and engine wise, and with good graphics. I mean, like that's all anybody wants. But anyway, we can talk about that forever. I will.
yeah. I was just going to say on stuff like graphics and stuff is that all of these problems come down to Frostbite. They upgraded during Anthem, I believe it was, and we all saw what happened with Anthem. And I know that there was quite a lot of good reports with everything that went wrong with Anthem, and a big part of that was the engine. And when I was speaking to a engineer over at Frostbite, he was saying is that there's a lot of misconceptions about Frostbite, that it's really hard to work with and stuff like that, but it's more so about controlling the power of it. And one of the analogies he used is that all developers should be looked at as mechanics working on cars. They all know how to, change the oil and do this and fine tune it. But when that mechanic has been working on a regular car for 20 years and then he's told to work on a Lamborghini, then things get a little bit more complicated, and then it's a little bit of a mess. So I think that was a really good analogy, and I use that car analogy quite a lot with what happened with this game. But yeah,
That makes a lot of
um,
sense. I've had a few people tell me to go back and read, and I need to do this. Jason Schreier's book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. I guess I haven't read it, but they're telling me that there's a whole section in there on how exactly what you're saying, like how Frostbite messed up Anthem and how it was one of the big problems that they didn't know how to work with it as well.
yeah, it's a disaster, and it's exactly what happened with Battlefield. I really do hope that Jason will look into it for Battlefield, because I think that it would be a really good story to get
For sure.
more opinions. But yeah, the analogy of engineers working on a car and then getting a Lamborghini is a really good analogy. And Frostbite even have their own team of senior engineers that not a lot of people hear about. I think there's like 1,000 engineers, like really um, highly qualified individuals. They're called the CTO, Frostbite CTO, and there's like 1,000 of them,
Holy
and they got
cow.
drafted in. They got drafted in to work on Battlefield 2042. I think it was summer 2021.
Jeez. Yeah, and I mean, just looking at the game, it almost has to be something at engine level. I mean, as of course I'm not a developer, as I've said many times, I'm just an idiot on the internet, like so many other people. And but like you look at the graphics in Battlefield 5, I mean, just from streaming it, like I can stream that game, maxed out settings 1440p and stay over 140 frames, no problem. If I try to do
Yeah.
that with 2042, and in my opinion, the graphics, lighting, textures, everything is worse as a downgrade. Plus, I mean, I'm 60 to 80 frames. It still has a memory leak that can drop me down to 40 frames with a 3090 before I have to reset the game and reset the memory leak. So it is something. I mean, everything supports what you're saying. Essentially, it
Yeah,
has to be an
yeah.
engine level
Yeah, I
issue.
mean, yeah, with I mean, what we've got to remember with BF5 is that there was still a lot of those senior guys there still working on the game. Yes, some of them left before, some of them left during, but there was still a large, majority of people that were still working on BF5, and they had experience. And like once again with the analogy of the car, these guys have been working on those Lamborghinis for years and years and years. And then when you get a whole bunch of people coming in that have never worked on a Lamborghini and they only work on Fiat Puntos, then there's going to be some issues.
Yep.
And we've done the research ourselves. I think there's like 10 to 15% of people still working at Dice that worked on BF3 or something. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Not very many. It's pretty wild. But yeah, we can transition away from Battlefield like all the players and creators have had to do, and we can talk about GTA 6 a little bit. It's not in my wheelhouse, but I would definitely be remiss, and my journalistic make of it what you will would be thrown into question if we didn't talk about GTA 6 having Tom Henderson on the show. So yeah, essentially it was just announced recently that it is in fact in development, and from everything I've seen, it's still lining up with your predictions of like a 2024 release.
Yeah, 24, 25, and I think that's just going to line up perfectly. I mean, even if they announce it this year, what you've got to bear in mind is that Rockstar delay games, and they've just been doing that for the past decade now. If they say it's coming out in 23, you can bet that it's coming out in 24.
Yeah, but you can't really argue with their track record. Their games generally come out in pretty dang good shape. And I mean, I think GTA 6, I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but it's going to be the biggest. I think it's going to break records, the biggest
Oh
selling
yeah,
game like
yeah,
ever
yeah,
easily.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's going to be huge. I said this on Twitter. I think it was like 2 days ago, or maybe even yesterday. Is I am a little bit worried. Is that with the mentality of what gamers have at the moment is like, even if GTA is the best game ever, are people still going to complain about it, right? Like if there's
Yeah,
a female protagonist, are we all going to mourn, just because there's a female in it? And you know how people are these days.
right. Yeah. If
Um,
it's not perfect or exactly what they wanted,
yeah,
it's so easy to get on Twitter and start typing rants, and then I feel like there gets to be a mob mentality sometimes of when one person says, "Hey, yeah, me too," and then pretty much everybody piles on, and pretty soon it's trending or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I think with the love that indie games have been getting lately, in the shooter world, what I'm familiar with, Tarkov and Insurgency, Cycle Frontier, I think there's a lot of people. I give a lot of gamers credit because they have really good opinions sometimes, and I just feel like we've kind of seen a surge in indie games, World War III, as well, that we're all kind of rooting for. People are liking those games and giving them a lot of love based on the gameplay. Granted, they don't have as big an audience, so there might not be
yeah.
that big chance for people to get mad about and stuff. But
I think it comes down to the fact that those developers they develop what they want to develop, right? They're enjoying themselves, and it's just taking the whole gaming thing to like back to its roots, where people are developing games because they enjoy it. And then going back to Battlefield, when I was speaking to a few ex Dice developers, they was like, "Yeah, I work for X Studio now. I'm never working for a publicly traded company again,
yeah,
because it's numbers. It's not fun." Um,
yeah, I think
I understand there's got to be, yeah, a medium there where you've got to make money and have fun at the same time, but big corporations don't really see it as that.
Yep, because it seems like all the decisions get made based on numbers and likely models. I'm assuming there's a giant finance team that says, "Hey, this
Mm.
sells on games. This is what we have to put into our game. This is why." Instead of someone who is a Battlefield fan and's been wanting to play them their whole life, and they got a job at DICE and they're excited to develop it, and then they get told they have to put this in the game. No, no arguing. I definitely get it. Do you think so with this lineup? Do you think like with the dates lining up for Grand Theft Auto, do you think it's going to be next gen only finally? Are we going to start seeing next gen only games as hopefully, God willing, that we get more consoles out to people, like to become more available?
I mean, what you got to bear in mind is that I've not really had GTA stuff since I last did my video on it. But even back then, the plan was always going to make this one current gen only. And I think that's where we could potentially see 2025 is if the chip shortages do continue. And I don't really think that there's difficulty in selling consoles at the moment. I think it's the difficulty of being able to manufacture them, right?
Yeah,
I think that there's a lot of people just waiting until there's enough stock because people don't want to spend an extra $200 or whatever it may be on a console. So I think it will be current gen only, and then if it is 24, 25, we're talking another 4 years or 5 years where the next gen consoles are going to come out. So the PS6 and whatever it may be, and then at that point they can look into the remasters, and yeah, I think they'll be laughing. I just think from everything that them doing it past gen doesn't make sense.
right. That's a lot of support, and by then, I mean they're going to be getting really old by then. Consoles.
Yeah, right. So they're going to be what, 13 years old?
Yeah,
Trying
yeah,
to remember how old they even are, but yeah, it's crazy, and we're finally getting at that point anyway now in the industry where developers are starting to move away from um, past gen consoles, because supporting 5 consoles, that being the past gen, current gen, and PC, and even in some cases now the Nintendo Switch, supporting all of those consoles is hard enough in a studio environment. Now imagine doing that working from home where you don't have all the consoles and you need to screen share and whatever it may be.
ugh,
It's a crazy amount of
exactly.
work.
So, yeah, I'm a complete idiot when it comes to this because, like I said, I just pretty much play shooters. But you, if I remember right, it was a while back you sketched some of the key art for the game that you've seen. Is the setting the same as? I mean, could you tell from that what the setting was going to be? Is it going to be similar to GTA 5, just kind of an updated GTA 5, or is it going to be like the 80s, like Vice City, or were you able to tell from that at all?
So from my understanding is that, first of all, it wasn't gameplay, it wasn't marketing material or anything like that. It was concept stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um, from what it looked like to me is that it would be, by the time 24, 25 comes around, it would be modern, possibly even slightly futuristic, maybe just based on like the jetpack and stuff. Um, but I don't think it's going to be 80s. I don't think it's going to be a past game. What you've got to bear in mind is that although that GTA 6 is going to sell well, that's not Rockstar's moneymaker. That is not Rockstar's moneymaker. Rockstar's moneymaker is GTA, and they want as many possibilities as possible. And the way
Right.
to do that is going to be modern or slightly future.
That makes total sense. Yeah, GTA on has been massive, and I feel like from an outsider kind of looking in, like that's been the thing that keeps this game going is its online presence, the multiplayer stuff, all the mods, just a crazy amount of stuff. And then like the extent of my GTA knowledge actually comes from watching RPers, like role players on GTA on Twitch. That's kind of, I mean, Grand Theft Auto for years now it seems like has been towards the top of Twitch with people watching it and keeping people involved in the role playing stuff has been really cool. I wonder, I've kind of been wondering if in GTA 6 they'll, on the online portion of it, they'll double down on that and create kind of, like mod tools or RP type server tools for admins right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, they've been looking at it closely, right? I think that will be a strong driving factor, and just based on the technology side of things, like the AI, for example, AI is going to be more sophisticated. That isn't a leak or anything like that. That's just facts that AI is going to be much better in this game, more interactable, and that's going to lend itself to a potential for this role playing kind of stuff. There's a lot of directions that they can go down with GTA 6, um, but yeah, the online stuff is where their minds are going to be at. Hopefully, it means that we get a good story for the game,
Hmm.
but I would imagine that stuff has been built from the ground up based on like future proofing GTA 6 rather than um, GTA Online becoming this massive thing that they may or may not have been expecting. Um,
That
they,
would,
they know that it's going to do well.
yeah, that would make sense because like I feel like they've probably learned quite a bit from the longevity of GTA 5, and hopefully they can building a new game from the ground up with keeping that in mind. They'll create some pretty straightforward like mechanisms to where they can keep it updated, maybe do remasters in the future and support it for. I'm sure it'll probably their goal I would think would be to keep it supported as well and as long as GTA 5 has been, and
Yeah,
designing that
I
from the
mean,
beginning would make sense.
yeah. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they're viewing GTA 6 as like the ultimate title. I wouldn't be surprised if they're viewing GTA 6 as like just calling it Grand Theft Auto and having it as a like the next 2 decades or whatever. Um, it just wouldn't surprise me at this point. It wouldn't surprise me if they're viewing the game as like the doing end all. Um, uh, Obviously, they're not going to get the added benefit of the sales of a new title, but I mean, GTA 5 is still doing crazy numbers. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's still in the top 10, right? Every single month.
Yeah, it's always there. It's on like every list ever of like top played games, biggest community, biggest income. Like it's a juggernaut. So like they have big shoes to fill, but I bet they've learned a lot. And given their track record, GTA 6, it's just gonna be insane. I feel like it's gonna be pretty crazy. And so you're thinking it'll those likely will they release in the fall, right? Holiday time again, like most stuff. So do you think it would be?
Yeah, yeah. So I've seen a few theories that they're going to say 23 and then it's going to potentially run 24. Um, that's not happening. I really just cannot see that happening. They're not going to miss out on the potential for an October November release and be able to rake in what they do for the holidays. It just doesn't make, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we see what EA sacrificed with putting out Battlefield, the state that it's in, not to miss the holiday sales. So I think if they have this much
Yeah,
planning, it just makes sense to plan around it from a business standpoint.
yeah, and
Um,
yeah, even I think that's the problem that Rockstar are in as well, is that they know that this title needs to be done right, um, because there's a lot riding on it. I mean, we've seen with the announcement of GTA 6, the stock shot up 6 or 7%, I think it was,
mhm.
which is huge for a company. It might not seem huge to like the average person, but 5, 6, 7% is massive.
Yeah,
It's crazy,
it really is,
for one game.
especially
So
with
I think they know.
a market cap that high. It's a big company.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they know that there's a lot riding on GTA 6, and I guess now that I mean, I'm not worried for Rockstar or whatever it may be, but I'm a little bit concerned that now that we have seen an announcement, is that everyone's going to be pissed if we don't get to see a trailer this year.
Yeah, that's the problem. I've noticed that with like announcing the Star Wars games and like Blizzard announced a new IP and they don't even, they're not ready to even announce a name. And I've heard people say it so, they can hire talent for developers to get people excited.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I feel like it frustrates communities because like, okay, a game's coming and then it's like, we have 3 years to wait for this thing now that we know it's coming. It's kind of, I
yeah,
get it.
yeah. Yeah, there's a huge demand for developers at the moment, and that's why we have seen Star. I mean, even going back, when was Elder Scrolls 6 announced? Like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, some of those have been a long
That's
time.
that's why we're getting all of these very early announcements, like Crisis 4, the Star Wars stuff. Like some of those even Star Wars Eclipse. That I don't think that's coming out for 3 or 4 years. It's
Sheesh.
because there's such a high demand for developers at the moment. There was a big effort before Christmas to try and keep as many people at EA, for example.
Hmm.
I've seen the emails. It's like there is such a huge demand for developers at the moment. Is that they need to announce it this early? I'm a little bit concerned that maybe this is setting up potentially false hope, that we are going to see something this year. I'm not saying that we are. It does make sense that we will if there's going to be a 2024 release, but yeah, it's just a little bit concerning, as we head into like October, and then I can definitely expect the tension starting to build, and then November, and then nothing happens, and it's just going to be, yeah,
Yep,
it's going to be.
it's a tricky situation
Mm,
because I see both sides of it. We can transition on because yeah, speaking of that, there is a Take Two interactive call coming up very soon in about an hour, and Tom's going to be streaming it over on his channel. So definitely have you guys probably pop over there as soon as we're done over here to check that out. So hopefully they get some more information. What are you kind of expecting from that? Just to kind of maybe give a timeline of release, you think?
yeah, I think. I mean, it. I think we're definitely going to hear the term. There's a new GTA title in development just because of the announcement being made last week. Like they've announced that not only to give a strong talking point at the call, but to also get developers. But the interesting thing for analysts at the moment is that Take Two have predicted I think it's 16, it's somewhere between 14 and 18% increase in net bookings for fiscal year 24, which is between May 2023 and May 2024, I believe it is, for Take Two. So that could indicate that they are expecting to release GTA 6 in November of 2023. And I think if we do get to see a trailer this year, it is going to say fall 2023. But ultimately, I do think it will be pushed back. So I think there will be something along the lines of that, but I'm not expecting them to give definite timelines or anything. They're usually like the reveal trailers.
Right. Okay. I think I spoke with my production team in my ear, which they're terrible, by the way. I think we'll skip on to Modern Warfare 2 since I got you for about 30 more minutes, and I can talk about Vanguard afterwards or a little later on because I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to talk to you about Modern Warfare 2. Given the state of Battlefield, honestly, I think it's the game I'm most excited for. I think I want to try to get 4 or 5 stack of guys together and play some sweaty search and destroy on that game mode. And Warzone 2 as well. So my
Yeah.
understanding, we're pretty sure we're confident it's going to be Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2, not to be confused with the old Modern Warfare
Mm-hmm.
2.
Yeah.
And I would envision, just me guessing, that multiplayer is probably going to stay pretty similar to all the most recent, I mean, Call of Duty multiplayers for forever. And then something that you've reported on that I'm really interested in also is the DMZ. And
Yeah.
is this going to be probably a better effort than Battlefield was at a Tarkov Light?
Yeah. Yeah. So with the DMZ, interestingly enough, the person who told me first about the DMZ actually told me about someone who was working at Dice and about Hazard Zone, and he was joking that like what they're working on with the DMZ is 10 times better than Hazard Zone solely based on the fact that the DMZ has been built from the ground up. With Hazard Zone, it's more sort of a afterthought, just kind of throw something together. I think we can just see that with the likes of them just having the Hazard Zone on all of the all-out warfare maps. But yeah, the DMZ's been built from the very ground up. It's a completely brand new experience we've never seen in Call of Duty. I think even Activision have said that in their last earnings call or whatever it was, their earnings report, is that it's a brand new experience. It's something that we've never seen in Call of Duty, and it has been built from the ground up. And it's been in development for about 4 years. I think it'll be 4.5 by the time the game releases. So compared to, I don't know, a year that Hazard's on had, maybe, it seems like it's going to be a pretty good game mode. But I'm now at the point with reports is that I don't really want to give my opinion and developers' opinions, because I get really serious flashbacks to Battlefield.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, it's like yeah, the developers have told me that the DMZ is going to be huge, but I don't know what that entails. Like,
Hmm.
when I was speaking to a developer in April 2021, he said Battlefield 24 is going to be huge. So it's like, we'll just have to see.
Yeah,
But they've got a lot of good stuff going on at this moment in time. It's not concrete, and it's not as concrete as I would like it to be at this stage, because we are so far from release. But they've
right.
got really sophisticated AI that will, scream at you when there's shot, and gurgle blood and repel from helicopters, and it seems like they've got loads of crazy stuff going on. But I don't really want to hype it up too much, because we are so far from release. But it seems like it's going to be pretty cool,
Yeah,
um, and
and
then hopefully it lives up to the expectations.
yeah, and things can obviously change, as we've seen numerous times. And I think that's a really important lesson that kind of Battlefield taught us, is to is to kind of wait and see, like kind of definitely take things with a grain of salt, and get excited talking about what we want to see and things like that, but also be like a little bit careful with what we kind of take as fact and stuff like that, for sure. um
Yeah, yeah.
you,
So, I was just going to make a quick point on that. What you've got to bet, I've said this in quite a few live streams and videos, is that the earlier we get with leaks, I mean, we're at the point where the Modern Warfare 2 leaks started to come out before the next one came out, before Vanguard came out. So the leaks are getting earlier and earlier and earlier, and that just means that the leaks are gonna get more inaccurate. I mean, that's not me saying that it's not going to happen or whatever. It's just the reality of gaming development. Is it's so fluid, it's ever changing. One thing can be in the game one week, the next week it could be completely gone. So I think that's important, and of course you should always take leaks and rumors with a pinch of salt, regardless of who they come from or what point the leaked or whatever. So I think that's a really important thing to say.
Definitely. Have has there been much said or talked about, like, what's going to change multiplayer wise? I know Modern Warfare 2019 it got quite a bit of criticism for things like the mini map and promoting camping and the slower tactical style gameplay. I actually liked it. I like games like Siege and Tarkov and Insurgency and stuff like that. So it was right up my alley, and I really enjoyed it, and that's part of the reason I'm looking forward to Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2. But do you see them changing much with like the gunsmith, or any like core multiplayer changes that you've heard about? And I'm sure these are very fluid, like game
Yeah,
balance
so
things.
yeah, it's really difficult to say something like that. 9 months from release or whatever it's going to be, because, like I said, one thing could be there this week, and next week it could be completely scrapped or changed or whatever. The game is currently in QA, really extensive QA, which just means that there's going to be even more changes on a weekly, monthly, even daily basis. So it's very hard to say what exactly is going to be comparable to the likes of Modern Warfare 2019 or even older Call of Duties, because things can change so quickly. And one week it could be a slow game, the next week they could increase the time to kill by 50 milliseconds, or decrease it by 50 milliseconds or increase player movement or whatever it may be. There's a lot that can change, but with Warzone 2 is it gives them the opportunity to essentially scratch everything they've done previously, because no Warzone 2 is a for computer.
You said Warzone 2 is what? Sorry, your microphone broke up a little bit.
I was just saying Warzone 2 is a clean slate for Call of Duty, so they could just change everything, right?
Yeah.
Gunsmith doesn't need to follow the same model anymore because it won't carry over to Warzone, so they could completely change that. We could have completely different, well, we probably are going to have completely different perks, different point systems, class systems, score streaks, kill streaks, whatever it may be. Everything could be completely flipped on its head
That's really exciting because
with this game.
I'm sure they've learned a lot with the data, and they've even had like competitions and things with Warzone. So hopefully they take what they learned and make a better game. I'm pretty excited for Warzone 2. I'm kind of glad that they're going to do this, because I can't imagine having like piling in another game's guns on top of the guns that are already in the game. You have Modern Warfare 1 and 2. You'd have like 5 different kinds of AKs.
Yeah, it would be crazy, and then it gets to the point where trying to figure out, well, is the Modern Warfare 2019 AK-47 better than the Black Ops Cold War AK-47, or is it less better than Modern Warfare 2's AK-47? And then it just gets to the point where you've got that many guns, is that it's even at a point where you can't really balance them, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I understand with Warzone there's meta weapons and it changes on a patch basis, but when you've got 150 weapons that you need to change all the time, it gets a little bit crazy. And I think even just from a memory standpoint, imagine how many gigs that's going to be.
Oh man, I can't even imagine. It's just like from the balancing standpoint, that is so many levers to pull. Like the chain. Yeah, I'm glad that they're doing that, and I'm hopeful and pretty excited for Warzone 2, because I still play a lot of Rebirth, Island, the Resurgence, the smaller game mode. Like I'm all about that. I still have a lot of fun with that. I hope they add like more smaller maps. I think it'd be really cool for that type of game mode. They develop more maps like Rebirth Island. I've heard rumors of that, but nothing's set in stone. I think Rebirth is a really cool game mode. JGod did a poll about who's playing Rebirth versus regular, and it was a surprising number. It was in the high 60% that were playing Rebirth over regular Battle Royale. So I hope they have some data there and lean into that, because I enjoy that game mode. I would love some variety. To have that on different maps would be really, really cool.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings and coming out this year, but I'm not sure when or what it will be or anything like that. This is the problem with leaks, is that because they're getting so early now, I did a leak on Vanguard probably this time last year saying that there was going to be a smaller map coming to this game with this integration, but I'm just completely lost on what it could be. And I think with the JGod poll is that people prefer Rebirth because of I think there was like some loadout changes or something. I've not played Cold Era I've not actually played Cold Era, to be honest. Since the update, I've seen all the bugs, and I was still having PTSD from BF42, so I just didn't play it. But I think the problem with BRs is that when you have a new map, like the community instantly wants to go back to the old map. It happened with PUBG, with they came out with like a desert themed map.
Miramar, yep.
And instantly everybody, you know.
Yep,
Like
they all wanted it back.
I remember
nostalgia hits right away.
Yeah, and it's not just because of the nostalgia; it's because of the changes to the gameplay. Right, you you know where you want to go, you know all of the strategies, and then it's just like kind of learning a new game all again. Although there is everything else is the same, when you change the map completely, it flips it on its head. And I think that's why the likes of Fortnite has done really well, because they just changed the map rather than completely do a new one.
I've seen that a
Um,
lot in games. Rainbow Six has done that a lot. They've just kind of reworked maps rather than make completely new ones. Because I think what it does is it, like, you feel like, all right, I've learned how to play this game. I'm getting better at it. You know, skill-based matchmaking maybe doesn't feel like it, but I'm getting better at it. And then it just basically resets you, and you have to like learn it all again. And that stage of learning is not that fun because you're usually learning the hard way.
yeah.
So that
Well,
makes
yeah. I mean, you go from winning 1 in 2 games to dying to someone from a bush that you didn't know was there. Um, which sucks. But
Yeah, and I love Rebirth because like the down it takes all the downtime out of the BR. Like if you die early and lose your gulag, you have to wait while your teammates try to get a recon, try to get enough money, try to do contracts to get you back, and you're just sitting there on your hands. Where Rebirth, you're back. Your team's either in it or you're out of it. Like you're all in it or you're out of it, queuing for another game. But you still get that adrenaline at the end that I like in like Search and Destroy and in Battle Royale. So like if you survive that long, you still get that little adrenaline hit, which I think it's a perfect and great game mode. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about it because like I feel like the Battle Royale purists kind of look down on it a little bit, but I really hope they lean into the resurgence game modes and stuff like that. Do you think and this is, I understand this, we're kind of getting into opinions and speculations, but with the DMZ, do you think they'll go, do you think they'll go full in with the like an economy and like looting items, or do you think it'll be more of like a challenge based where like this raid we're gonna go in and we have to find this and this for a daily challenge, and they'll change that up? Or do you think there's going to be like a currency and an economy and everything like Tarkov has, or is it going to be a little lighter than that?
I think it will be similar to Tarkov. I don't necessarily think it's going to be as hardcore, but I think, from my understanding, is that they're trying to get that Tarkov market for consoles, and potentially a lesser like hardcore version of it. Because I mean, ultimately, yeah, it's going to be like Tarkov, but I mean, ultimately, it's Call of Duty, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think there's going to be economy and looting, and there is objectives because I've seen them, um, and how it changes and stuff like that. I don't really know at this point, but I would imagine if it's successful, then it's going to be a mod that they definitely support. And I seen a video earlier today of someone saying that it's not going to be free to play, and uh, just be cautious on stuff in regards to free to play, because at this moment in time, I don't think that anybody really knows. And going back to Battlefield again, Hazard Zone was meant to be free to play. They saw it as a unviable option because it lacked depth. And the same could be for the DMZ. It could be currently coming with the full game, but if there's so much depth to it and it's got potential to convert people to the full game, they might make it free to play, or they might just do free to play weekends, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or I mean, they basically, they being Activision and their studios, wrote the playbook on how to turn free to play into people getting the game with, you know, weapon progression and people, you know, the slow progression Warzone versus, if I just buy multiplayer, I can level this gun up a lot faster. I think there's so many people that play multiplayer just for that, and I'm sure they'll figure out some way to.
Yeah, it's controlled in such a way where it's like if a new weapon comes out and you need to get 25 kills 3 times with a shotgun to unlock a new shotgun, then and you've only got Warzone, you're likely to just do it in multiplayer, right?
Yep, exactly.
And it's a bit of a conspiracy, but it's always interesting when new weapons release or a new game comes out with the integration, that it's always those weapons that are always broken and overpowered at the start. It's a bit of a conspiracy, but it's like,
it happens like like the first like time or two. I thought it was maybe a conspiracy. I'm like, give them the benefit of the doubt, but then every season, man. Like the gun
Yeah.
that's like halfway down the battle pass is super strong. Not necessarily broken, but like meta or really close. So like it's
Yeah, there was
I think they just do it. I kind of
yeah. Yeah, there was a sniper that was just broken for weeks.
the
I can't
DMR.
remember which one it was. I don't know if it was the DMR.
I just
Um,
remember that forever. The DM it was
S
DMR zone.
S
Like everyone.
SPR seen in chat. It could have been that.
Yeah,
It was just like it was just ridiculous, and they didn't fix that for weeks because they knew that it was just going to trend. Well, like I said, jumping down the conspiracy rabbit hole, but they knew that people was going to upgrade the full game and get that battle pass done fast, and not even with the battle pass as well. It's like you want to rank up the gun as fast as you can, right?
yeah.
The easiest way to do that is multiplayer or zombies.
And
It's interesting.
I think they'll have to be. I think they'll have to be really careful with that DMZ, um, to do that, because like when you have a game mode that's like Tarkov, where if it is like that and like something like there's really rare loot or something, and you die, you're almost to extract and you die with something that you've been working on for weeks. I've had this happen countless times in Tarkov. It's a heavy death. Like I mean, it hurts. And if you die to stuff that you feel like is like microtransaction based or like any kind of close to pay to win, is really gonna turn people off. I think they have to be really careful with weapon progression and balance in DMZ. If the gameplay loop provides like super high stakes like Tarkov.
Yeah, I'm not sure how hardcore it's going to be. Like, I'm not sure if that's going to be the case where like you're gonna lose the weapons and stuff. I don't know at the moment. Maybe there'll be some kind of, I don't know. Maybe they could do something like if you die, you'll 20% of your coins that you have or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not
Mhm.
really a massive blow in terms of having the best weapons and stuff, but
I really need to take a look at the Cycle Frontier. A lot of Tarkov streamers. Have you seen that game at all?
I
Around?
think I've seen a little bit, but I've not really looked into it, to be
I,
honest.
I want to, because I've heard a lot of people say it is like the perfect Tarkov light. Like there's still looting, but there's not a lot of downtime. There's not a lot of complex mechanics like there are in Tarkov. The combat is a lot more straightforward. It's got AI, it's got raids. There is an economy and stuff like that. So I could really see, because I mean a lot of people really liked it and got into it, and they have another beta coming up soon. I think within the next week or so, where people will be playing it and stream it again. So I could see Activision kind of seeing that, and maybe because they kind of have a history of taking ideas and improving them. Back in the heyday of Blizzard, I think they did this all the time. But I could really see them doing something along the lines of Cycle Frontier. If a AAA studio can make that Tarkov type gameplay accessible, at you don't have to play it for 3 months getting your butt kicked to learn it, and like people, and it comes to console, I don't know how many times I've been streaming Tarkov and people are like, I'm on console, I can't play, I just have to watch. And I feel bad because I want people that want to experience that type of gameplay. So there is a recipe in there somewhere, and it's getting closer and closer to a AAA studio finding it, and I'm really interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, I think the Escape from Tarkov mod is now probably over the course of the next few years is going to be the like the battle royale like genre, like where we get to see probably every studio trying it out. It just seems like it's a good balance, and it seems like if it's right, I mean, definitely if Call of Duty pull it off, there's going to be so many people jumping on the train for that.
Yep. And
Um,
I draw parallels to back in the day when PUBG was only on PC and they were, the battle royale, and you had that time window in there where I felt like it was the race to get BR to console. I don't think it's quite as crazy for Tarkov, but like you just definitely see like the market for that on console. It's like I just remember like I went to GameStop, I didn't give a shit. I was like, because it came to Xbox first, I'm like, I watched Shroud and Dock and I have to play PUBG, and I sold my PlayStation 4 for whatever and got an Xbox One. just so I could play PUBG. Like, I know I got hosed on the deal from GameStop, but I had to play PUBG. And like, I feel like there could be a subset of console players that would love to get a game like Tarkov a go.
Yeah, I think it's coming. I think the DMZ. I mean, like I said, I don't really want to get into, but the DMZ is a possible candidate to fill that gap. But we'll just have to see. We'll have to see.
For sure. And that's the exciting part. That's why I love talking to you, and I super appreciate your time, because I just like talking about this stuff, what could be. We get to kind of speculate and discuss, and based on the stuff that you see and hear and able to report on, and then we get to see if it happens. And I don't know, it's just kind of fun. To me, I feel like it fits in with what Call of Duty has been over the last few years. It's like they have their core multiplayer, and then now they're going to have Warzone as a staple, and then they do something else. Like Modern Warfare 2019 was trying to sell people on the ground war mode, which was a lot like Battlefield. Battlefield, same size vehicles, was basically like Conquest. So I could definitely see them. It makes sense. They kind of have three pillars. I don't know where Zombies falls into this. But with
I don't think Zombies is going anywhere. Treyarch kind of got dealt a really bad hand with Vanguard, and all the stuff going on with Vanguard Zombies. I don't really follow Zombies as much as I like to do, because, like I said before this call, I don't really follow games or mods or whatever it may be if I'm not really interested in it. It just,
right.
I mean, the more passionate you are about a game or a mod, the more you're gonna dive into it, right? But I don't think Zombies is going anywhere. They had big plans for Zombies, but I'm not sure where those plans are currently. I heard rumblings of a standalone Zombies game.
Mm-hmm.
I heard rumblings of Zombies Chronicles 2. They've got the potential to make Zombies into something huge, but it's the case of, are they committed enough to do it? I just think with COVID, I think that it's just screwed a lot of things up. It's just COVID has been bad news for everyone. As much as we can all hate on the fact that it's a terrible excuse or whatever, which I've seen some people complain about, it's like the reality is, it is an excuse, because people now need to work from home, and it's much more difficult working on your kitchen table, right?
Definitely.
Compared to a studio. So
I mean, at firsthand, in my IRL job, I've had to work from home, and there are a ton of challenges with it, and I totally get it. I think like I don't have a gripe at all with people saying it's challenging and needing more time. I think Battlefield is a clear example of needing more time due to working from home and engine issues. I just wish they would have taken it. And they deserved it. It needed it. I wish they would have taken it.
Yeah, they needed it, and the sad reality is, if they had another year, it would have done absolute insane. Like, they had everything was there, man.
Oh yeah, the market was ready for it, for sure.
Makes me so sad.
It does. Huge missed opportunity. We'll see if they can bring it back. I don't have high hopes, hence the show.
Well, yeah.
So,
at least you can worm your way into Warzone and stuff now.
I guess so, but it's fun to make. And I'll let you go get to your thing. I super appreciate you coming on. Your willingness to come on a small channel like mine says a lot about your character, and I super appreciate it. And I'll let you get to your take 2 call.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, man. Like I said, I'm always available. But yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate everyone stopping by and listening to everything that I've had to say. And of course, thanks for bringing me on.
Heck yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. And enjoy the take 2 call. We'll be watching Twitter for the results.
All right. Cheers, guys. All right. Thank you.
Later, man. Yep.
Cheers, Crush. All right. Bye.
Yeah. All right, guys. I am still going to go over some of the Vanguard stuff. If you guys are interested in that, it was super awesome. Can't thank Tom enough. Definite Chad, dude. So nice of him to come on. What I think we're gonna do is talk just a little bit about Vanguard Season 2. Guys, I'm amped for Warzone 2. I think I'm trying not to get there because we've had so many freaking like things go downhill, like with Battlefield recently and the AAA studio. It's just like, and we've seen kind of a resurgence of indie studios and things like that. But we're gonna pop up back to Vanguard Season 2 and talk just a little bit about what's going on there. There's some big stuff coming very soon to Call of Duty, and I would be kind of remiss if I didn't talk about it. You guys would question my journalistic integrity being what it is anyway. But yeah, so we've seen the cover art. They did tweet this out. I will go ahead and put the tweet up on the screen to my production team, which is terrible. See, they missed the thing. Dude, this show is junk. This show is terrible. They didn't even get the little graphic right on the bottom. Just terrible. I fixed it. You guys, I gotta fire these guys. But anyway, guys, yeah, so Season 2 is coming out. It looks like, if you recall, it was supposed to be out by now, like a week ago, but it is coming out the 14th. I'm not playing a ton of Vanguard right now. Honestly, what I am doing with, as far as Call of Duty, is playing Rebirth with a lot of friends. But it's quite a bit of fun. But yeah, it's coming out. There is some of the key art and stuff they just tweeted about in the 14th. And some of the interesting things that I am going to give Vanguard another look, because some of these things are really interesting. I think ranked play is coming. Now, the perfect situation would be for ranked play to take a little bit of a chunk out of skill-based matchmaking, right? Like in a perfect world with a perfect game, skill-based matchmaking would be ranked. That way, when you get better, you start getting in higher in lobbies, you have a reason to show it. You can show, hey, I'm platinum, or hey, I'm diamond, or I'm gold, working my way up. It's rewarding to get better. As we all know with skill-based matchmaking, like when you try to get better, like nothing happens. Like it just doesn't feel like you're getting better, because you're basically playing people that are like yourself. So I'm going to be interested to see. I don't think we've seen ranked play like this for a long time in Call of Duty, so I might definitely check it out. And then also, what else did I put in here? Oh, I'm hopeful that it's not going to be, but I'm hopeful that it's input based. The whole keyboard and mouse versus aim assist controller thing is like a whole entire different thing. That is I just wish it would be input based. Like you'd have a keyboard and mouse rank, and you'd have a controller rank, was what I wish you could do. And then it just kind of puts that stuff, all the rest. And then there's rumors that Ground War is coming. I don't think, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've heard anything official on Ground War. I talked to Tom about it a little bit before we went live. He hasn't heard much on it. But yeah, like Danger Man is saying, it's been pretty interesting that there's just been a lot of rumblings. Charlie Intel has reported that Ground War could be coming, and I think that would be pretty interesting in a World War II setting. I could see them as like trying to pick up slack for where Battlefield 2042 is leaving behind. Ground War in Modern Warfare 2019 was the last one that I really gave a shot. I'd just rather probably go play Battlefield 4, 1, or 5 over that. It didn't play very well in the COD engine, in my opinion. So I've also seen there's of course going to be new maps and guns. I've seen the Chow Chat leaked, which will be pretty interesting. I look for, as always, Tom and I touched on it a little bit. Man, it seems like they make the freaking guns that come out like super strong right off the rip to get you to buy them. Once or twice is coincidence, but after that, it's kind of like, I'm pretty sure you guys are definitely doing this on purpose. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about Vanguard. It is a game that's coming up soon. In all honesty, I've seen a lot of stuff in the chat today, and it's just been a theme. It's been a theme on the show for the last few weeks, right? Like we're all rooting, and we're kind of seeing a resurgence of indie studios. We're supporting them. We're putting them, we all kind of want to see them succeed, because what these indie studios, they're able to have a little bit more creative freedom. They likely don't have, a financial department running models and telling them what they need to put in their game. And I just think that a lot of us are rooting for AAA, or for indie studios to show AAA studios kind of what's up. They put a lot of work into it. They have a lot of passion. I feel like there's a little bit more risk, being as far as, a game succeeding, but also the passion and love for it seems like it's there. There's just a lot more communication on Twitter and things like that. It doesn't seem like there's as much red tape. But I'm rooting for indie studios. Let's just say that. I'm rooting for games like Insurgency Sandstorm. That's a really fun game. I'm rooting for World War III. Tarkov, of course, is finding success. The Cycle Frontier, which I definitely recommend you checking out. It should be very interesting. I can really see the DMZ following the Cycle Frontiers mode. I can really see that because a lot of people have said that it is essentially like Tarkov Lite, and it has really good gameplay mechanics. So I think that would definitely be awesome. How long have we been live? God, too long. This show is terrible. Yeah, so I think now that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Again, Tom is a fucking legend for coming on here and talking to me. It feels like I'm a waste of time to him because he's like has so much stuff going on. Like super appreciative to Tom for taking the time to do that. Says a lot about the kind of guy he is for being able to do that. So anyway, guys, yeah, just a couple super quick announcements, and then I think we'll just talk to chat for a little bit before I let you guys go and get on with your Monday, which I hope is going well. Again, Take-Two earnings call starts in about 15 minutes, so I'll probably talk to you guys up until that point for 15 minutes or so, and then you guys can hop over to Tom's stream and check out his Take-Two call. And also, if you guys want to join the Discord to give feedback on the show, what you think we need. This show right now, since I have quite a few of you guys here, this show is definitely a work in progress. I'm learning what I think we need to do as far as hopefully someday. I'm leaning towards getting a co-host to kind of make things a little bit more chill, where we can give each other crap and joke around a little bit more and try to get it a little bit more entertaining from that standpoint, and then maybe have guests on a little bit less. Because when I have guests on, I like to be a little bit more professional. I think I'd like to let loose a little bit more on the show, just a little bit about that. And yeah, so I would love suggestions. I'll leave the video up for VODs. You can leave comments there. Just anyway, Discord, Twitter, whatever, to leave comments. I read them all because I really want this show. With the way Battlefield's turned out, I've had to pivot, and I just really hope that I can come up with something that you guys enjoy watching and I enjoy making. And that's like always the dream, right? Been enjoying Hell Let Loose. Dude, I need to check out that game. I've heard a lot about that game. So yeah, guys, what's up in chat? We'll chat for 10 minutes or so, and then you guys can go hop over and hang out with Tom. I fucking thank you for being here. It was so much fun. Super appreciate it. Had a hell of a good time. I appreciate it, guys. And again, thank you for chatting. I want your guys' chat to be on the screen. I want you guys to be part of the show. That's how it's always been. Have I ever played Squad? Yes, I have played Squad, and I do enjoy it. I've had some really funny moments in Squad. It's been really funny. Thanks for being here. Shout out to Sadballs as well for modding and paying attention to what's going on and stuff. I super appreciate that, man. Thank you for keeping a handle on the bots and lowering the ban hammer. I appreciate it, Insurgent. Yeah, dude, and shout out to you, man. Thank you for all the kind words on Twitter, retweeting the show, and everything you said. Let me go ahead and pull up what you talked about for Battlefield for sure on Twitter. Thank you for being so supportive, dude. Super appreciate it. I've seen some of your tweets and stuff, and it means a lot to have someone like you that's, you know, friend of the channel, for sure, dude. Very much appreciative. Let's see if I can find what's up here. Do you have multiple characters different each faction? A player can choose the character they want, like in Battlefield. Dude, that would be awesome. And cosmetics like gloves, goggles. Dude, yeah, if they could get like more in-depth cosmetics exactly like World War III, that would be so much awesome. More customization per class. Yeah, to give people a variety of look, and also give some replayability, and because you get attached to your character, right? If they look cool. I don't know. I think it just adds a lot to replayability. Customized helmets, gloves, masks, backpack, just like those for Mackies in the US. He can be chosen each class, but if Mackie was chosen as a recon, you'll be limited to only recon cosmetics, gadgets, and traits. Yeah, Insurgent. They should hire you, dude. I'm speaking the same language as you, man. Like, if they could just keep the if they could just get the customization up there where people like it. Again, I think World War III, the indie game that's coming out, it's going to be free to play next month. I hope we all can give it a go. I hope they come out with new maps, fix the audio. But that customization, the weapon customization and the soldier customization should be the gold standard for shooters going forward. Like it's just awesome. It's exactly like you said. And you know a lot of times when you're able to customize that much stuff, it no longer becomes you're not a specialist anymore. It's like it's you know, if you can put stuff on that you think looks cool, reflects kind of how you're feeling or your sense of style or whatever. Yep, way better. And then I think going forward with Battlefield, they're just gonna have to find a happy medium between classes and specialists. If they're not willing to let go on specialists, they're gonna have to put those specialists in recon classes, tie down weapons and gadgets, and make it closer to class based, but still leave, you know, their specialist trait and gadget in there. Excuse me. Essentially you would have classes, but the specialists would have, you know, their own kind of thing. So far I'm putting not just cool but tactical. True, Starcap, thanks for being here, man. Putting all your eggs in the World War III basket. I'm not yet. I'm really hopeful. They've been working on that game for a long time, and I've said it a ton of times, man. If they do rework the audio was rough right now, and add some more maps, we have a contender. And then they were teasing me with in that call that I reported on, where they were talking about having an esports type mode, which just instantly makes me think of a search and destroy type mode. And man, if you had that kind of tactical gameplay with a search and destroy mode without all the score streaks and weird stuff and random stuff that can have it in Call of Duty, like if you had something that's like, am I better at gunfights and positioning, or are you? Like, sign me up, man. I would love it. That would be icing on the cake for that game. So then you would have like your big modes like Battlefield, and then you could also sweat it out with your buddies if you wanted to, and some search and destroy, and really get into the gunplay. Looks like when scenes tone down a little. You have to grind, dude. Yeah, noob, 100%. It is so long to unlock stuff. And Buff Nerd, also thanks for being here too, man. I really am a fan of your channel as well, and I super appreciate you hanging out and being a presence on Twitter and stuff. Well, it means a lot, dude. Fucking appreciate it. Yeah, a console release would be lit, and I think they're probably gonna do it. If you look, the thing that is really telling, someone tweeted about it. And I think it was just Frags that they needed it on console, and World War III tweeted a GIF that made me think that they're really thinking about it. And then also you have in their creator program, so they have a creator program for bringing creators on board to help promote the game and things like that. And at the end there was a frequently asked questions, and there was a question on there, are you looking for console creators? And they said not in this time, but their plan is to bring on console creators. And it's like, why would you have console creators if there wasn't a game? So I think they're focused on PC. All things lead to them coming out on console later. What do you think of that free game coming to Xbox on the 10th, the FPS shooter game? Raven, which game are you talking about? I'm not sure. We can definitely take a look at it. Tom had to take off, Bruno. I didn't get asked in that. I don't think they will. I think they'll try to add more guns in season 1, I think. Are we gonna play some Tarkov, dude? We need to do it. Probably on a weekend. Get some raids in with that tricked out ADAR. Right? Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Woo! We good? Sometimes whiskey makes me sneeze. It's also Monday at 3 in the afternoon. I'm drinking fucking whiskey. The one I just said, Crossfire X. That's interesting. I hadn't heard much about it. Is it thanks for telling me. Is it Xbox only? Let's check it out. See if we can find something. Is it like an Xbox exclusive? I've heard about it. Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember an Xbox, dude. What if it's Xbox? It should be PC, right? How long is that video? Oh, someone just posted some gameplay of it. Let's check it out. I'll pull it up on the screen, guys. Watch the ads. Shout out ads. Dude, YouTube's been hitting me with the double unskippable ads, man. Not cool. Not cool. I remember one of the Xbox executives that I used to follow on my old Twitter account going over to bring this game over. Am I wrong or am I right in thinking that this game was oh man, God, I'm firing my producers, dude. They're so terrible. They're so bad. There, I fixed it. Have you yeah, it looks CS:GO but first person, which I could get kind of behind. Yeah, same Zen Silence. Dude, that super surprised me when they said how small of a percentage that Battlefield actually is of their net bookings. I was surprised. It's really not coming to PC at all. Dang. I know why it is. One of the Xbox executives I used to follow was in charge of bringing PUBG to Xbox. Once that happened and was kind of lined out, then he went over to work on this game and port this game to Xbox. If I'm right, this game is really big over in like Asia and EU, right? Maybe not in EU. I'm sorry, I know, sad balls. I meant ADS. I meant like a normal like ADS style shooter. Whoa, that was violent. Oh, with the knife out, that really does. Yeah, that looks really CS:GO. I guess we haven't seen anything that's not a sniper. You do ADS with snipers in CS:GO. I try to play Valorant stuff. Valorant's a really cool game. But man, I can't figure it out. Good help is hard to find. It is. Tell me about it. The team I got running this show is fucking pathetic. It's terrible. It's junk. They have no clue what they're doing. 149 Sad Balls, a sparkling diamond. Dude, you don't got to do that. Thanks for the super chat, man. I super appreciate it, dude. Yeah, PUBG is super popular in other countries. I do know that. The Steam numbers on that game are always really solid. They have 2 modes. Oh, that's really cool, Justin. Yeah, I need to check it out. I definitely need to check it out. It might be worth making a video about. Sting said it's only Xbox. Microsoft taking over the world. Bill Gates is gonna own everything, boys. Whew. Yeah, there is a lot of copying in other games. That's why I'm hopeful for the cycle. Hopeful for World War III. You know, it's kind of a mix of other games and some of these indie games that take more of a chance. I think financial departments at large AAA companies, you know, publicly traded companies, they do a lot of market research and, you know, they find that this game did well for this studio, so we got to do some of the same stuff. That's what I think. Yeah, he answered most of them. All the ones that I asked, yeah, I'm pretty sure I asked most of them. They're in there in their respective things. Hopefully you guys can scrub through, and when my production department doesn't jack it up, you can see where the topic indicator is as you kind of scrub through. It's kind of my hope for having that, where you can kind of see releases on Thursday. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I'll be sad. Yeah. And so it'll just be, that's wild. That's so depressing, man. I guess now I get to see what it feels like. That's yeah. So is that like S&D? Dude, oh, I will play this. Now I get to feel what it's like to want to play Tarkov and not be able to. I kind of want to play this. The graphics don't look great, but I don't really care. If it gets frames and plays good, yeah, it's really CS:GO-y. I guess a CS:GO on console is a really good idea because it's so popular on PC. That makes sense. It just floors me that they're doing a Game Pass game and not on PC as well. It's not going to be on Game Pass PC. I'm down bad. Oh no, dude, I don't know the timestamp off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find the question that you're talking about. Do you know what the question was? And I can tell you. I can kind of paraphrase for you what he said. Heard about it like a week ago. Oh, thank you so much, Raven. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. Hopefully we continue to have time at the end of shows where we can talk to chat a little bit, because yeah, I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you for the kind words. It means a lot. You're fucking awesome. Think about expanding and enhancing Xbox and PlayStation. Yeah, I've just overall, it's frustrating with the whole platform exclusive stuff, you know? Like it's just a little kind of sucks. I'm not about it. See if I have which channel that was. You promising future for Battlefield franchise or no? Yeah, we talked about the future of Battlefield quite a bit. Since that was one of the big topics, I didn't exactly explain it to him, ask it explicitly, because that was kind of the whole topic of the first part of the show. But essentially we're at kind of a wait and see right now. They're not going to abandon the franchise, but they're going to have to make changes they're going to have to make difficult changes and find happy mediums where people are still okay with the specialist, but it feels kind of like a class system still, and essentially more content and fix bugs and things like that. So yeah, I think there's hope because of the new hires. I think we kind of determined that it's mostly kind of a wait and see thing, but it's just going to be interesting to see what Vince Zampello, Marcus Lowe, and Rebecca Kutaz do. Apex season 12 today. Yeah, dude, I want to hop in on Apex and give that a go. Actually, I haven't played much Apex. Is the control mode, is it up and going? Because I'm very interested in that. I think that's really cool to add like a respawn type game mode, especially for people coming back to the game that haven't played it in a long time. I think that could be super cool. Because you kind of get used to the mechanics, you know, and not have to be in a BR, like you can respawn and try it again. Yeah, you bet, GT. Thanks for asking the question and being around. Appreciate that. Next guest, Flackfire. Man, next show is gonna be something different. I think I would love for Tom to be on as like a regular host or like a co-host, but it probably just doesn't make sense for him. My channel's too small. That's aiming a little bit high right now. We just have to keep trying to improve the show, get better, and see where it goes from there. But for you guys that are here now, it really means a lot, and we'll just keep trying to get better each week. I think it could be a lot of fun. I think it has potential. Yeah, Saballs, I'm gonna be live tonight. Link is in the description on Twitch. I do just chill gameplay streams over on Twitch almost every night, around like 8 to 9 p.m. Central for a couple hours each night. Hang out, have a few drinks, and they're just chill gameplay. I have face cam on and stuff when we talk. It's a lot of fun. We joke around and have a good time, have some bourbon, talk about life, and yeah, it's pretty fun. So twitch.tv/crash8. I think if you guys follow it does pop up on the channel supporters here. I think I have all my noties where it pops up here, but yeah, we should be live tonight and almost every night. Kick the stream on and we play Tarkov, older Battlefields, Resurgence, things like that. We just play shooters over there and get way too drunk sometimes. True. Friday night got a little wild. Friday night got a little crazy. Watching Kick-Ass last night. Oh, kinda. Man, would ice go well with that whiskey? Depends on the whiskey. So this one, Angel's Envy, is a pretty good bourbon that I've just been trying. It's a lower proof though, so it's only 86.6 proof. So it's a little lighter proof, so I don't want to water it down too much. Now, like the barrel proof stuff and certain like 100 proofs and higher, I'm with you. A little ice, knock the edge off, let it melt a little bit. Yeah, I'm with you, Vexer. I see what you're saying. I feel you. Oh no, Paranoid remembers, he doesn't forget. Man, I still think about that fight at Resort Cadillo. I still think about that. God damn it. Man, I wanted that guy. If I'd have had a different gun. I feel like the first dude ate it, but I couldn't see. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I'm learning. I'm still learning. But the gunfights I can do. I can shoot a gun on a computer. So yeah, it's not, I don't know. It's not like real life. I shoot a lot of guns in real life. I used to be a competitive shooter a lot. And like, I don't know, Tarkov's pretty cool for like gun nuts. It's pretty sweet. Paranoid remembers though. That's not good. That is not good. Yeah, I guess I'll let you guys go. If you guys want to hop over, I guess we could chat for longer. I guess it's up to you guys. If you want to talk about shooters and whiskey a little bit more, or anything like that. But yeah, follow twitch.tv/crash8, hang out over there, or I can let you guys go to the pewter guns. So I can let you go to the to Tom's stream if you want. They started as a gun simulator. Yeah, they had the game mode that Battle State made first was like a Call of Duty type thing. Like they tried to make like a super ballistically accurate like multiplayer kind of thing. Paranoid, I did clay target shooting. I did trap, skeet, and sporting clays, and started a college team. Yeah, Justin, thanks for being here, dude. Super appreciate it. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know where to go on the channel from here, or with the show or whatever, but I welcome all feedback, and I want this to be an enjoyable spot where we hang out once a week, you know, and hopefully I can get better at it. I know I need work, and I know I need to practice, and I know I want to get more entertaining, and we'll work on it. But thanks for sticking with me, guys. Yeah, I have quite a few guns. Need practice? Definitely. Practice is very, very important, and practicing safety is very, very important. Yeah, Nikita's Instagram is pretty wild. He's got everything going on over there. Yep. What was your shotgun of choice? Not a gun up, but I used to shoot clays as some therapy. Gotcha. My best gun that I was mainly a trap shooter, so I was junior state team captain a couple times. I actually got invited to try out for the Olympics, but after collegiate nationals, but I didn't have the money to go try it out. But my family didn't have the money to like support that, because you just have to go like pay your own way. But yeah, I had a Krieghoff for that, and then for sporting clays and skeet, I have a Beretta 686 white onyx with the silver jeweled receiver. It's pretty sweet. But anymore, there's a couple sporting clays courses near my house, so in the summertime we just get some cigars and go shoot some clays. A lot of fun. OVBF throws us something awesome come summer and you'll be ahead of the game. Everyone start. Yeah, I hope so, Justin. I hope so. Something happens. Yeah. Honestly, I want to get this show into a place that's really fun. That's really fun to make. And we can have a segue to jump back into Battlefield if there's something to make content about. Because yeah, I'm with you. There's not a lot to make videos about with Battlefield right now. We're just kind of chilling. Yeah, me too. I also do archery too. That's my bow right there behind me. Yeah, I'm with you. I like guns and video games as well. Think you could get someone from Neves on here? Man, I don't know. I already feel like I've gotten way better guests than I deserve, and I almost feel bad asking larger creators. Like, I love the conversations and talking to them and bringing you guys like these really cool interviews, but like I feel guilty like I'm just chasing clout or something, which I'm not. I just genuinely love these discussions, but I don't know. I feel kind of bad asking bigger creators to be on here. But it would be really cool. It would be really cool. But definitely share any feedback, guys, in Discord or on this video after the fact in the comments. Tarkov and gun chat. I could do that. I could definitely do that. I wonder what the cycle is going to be like. I'm definitely going to watch Geeks Day Played a lot. And I need to get a feel for it, because I could really see Call of Duty copying that game mode. Oh yeah, they were all super cool. But I mean, I still feel bad. Like I don't know what. Yeah. I understand how valuable their time is, and I wish I could, make it worth their time more. We all know it's not some cheap chat stream. Oh, it kind of is. Well, yeah, but I mean, they don't get much exposure from my small channel yet. So I think we just need to go back to drawing board a little bit and see how we could keep this show a little bit entertaining. White guilt. No, it's a tiny YouTube channel guilt. Because it's like, yeah, I don't know how to ask people to be on the show and make it like 100% clear that I'm not doing it just for access to their community, you know? And I feel like I don't have anything to offer. But I don't know. Your opponent shooting clays and rifles on got me into guns. Now I'm liking. Okay. Sonic should be. Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen for sure. But definitely can't show any of those on YouTube live stream. Any of the ones I have. Not okay. Yeah, I don't know. No, it's not that. There's something in Battlefield 24. If you play online, tier 1 is pretty far away. Especially for the tuk-tuk and the ATVs. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's just that game's hard for me to stream, man. I feel like I got the worst of it when it comes to bugs. Like I was talking about earlier, I get a memory leak in that game. It's hard to stream because it just kills my PC performance, unlike any other game. And it's just hard to play. I just honestly don't enjoy it, man. But yeah, I mean, there is content there, especially if you're a completionist like that, which I haven't ever really been. I never really go for like the camos and COD and stuff like that. Most Syrian ain't Tom. Yeah, that's true. There's still around 40 of you guys here, which is like, that's insane. So super appreciate it. I mean, for me personally, this is the old guard. Yeah, kind of am. The old boomer. Guess you can mainly focus on shooters. Star Citizen, I have heard of it. I've watched people play it. I don't understand it too much. I don't have a lot of knowledge about it. But yeah, I mean, I just mainly, yeah, that's what this show's going to be about. It's going to be mainly about shooting games that I like. I felt like I've honestly have a decent resume to talk about a variety of shooters. I'm pretty sure I'm getting close to over 400 wins in Rebirth. I've made it to Platinum in Rainbow Six Siege a couple times, level 34 in Tarkov. Decent Battlefield player. Like, I mean, there's not really a metric there. 170 KD or something in Battlefield 5. And that's someone who always attacks tanks on foot. So I mean, yeah. And I just thought about that going forward. Like, I don't want to totally ditch Battlefield, but I enjoy making long form content like this, and I have a little bit of knowledge about a lot of games. Yeah, I'll check it out for sure. I think crash just see after about 10 matches. Yeah, my frames just tank, and then I get frustrated at the maps, and it keeps resetting my loadouts, and I can't get revived close to stuff after they said that. I don't know. It puts me in a negative headspace. Because I honestly feel really bad for the Battlefield community when I play it. And some people like it. That's super great. If that's a game that you like, have fun with it. That's awesome. But it's just, the potential's there and it was unrealized, and it puts me down a little bit. Yeah, no kidding. I had so much content planned for 2042. You can see it in a couple of the gun guides I did on release week. You guys can see in there, I have animated time to kill graphs. I beat sim.gg to some of that stuff where I hand tested it. I had workflows where I could put all the gun stats in Excel, and then it would transfer over via a plugin to After Effects, so I would get animated graphs and stuff. And like, I was ready to go all in on this and be like the gun guy for Battlefield. And then it's just like, I would spend like 2 days working really hard on these videos, and no one would watch them because there's only like 4 assault rifles. So like, it's not that big of a question which one's the best one, you know? Not really. It just didn't turn out. I had it all planned out with Buff Nerd once we see it. Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, I want to check out more Buff Nerd's content. I checked out his channel and his videos are awesome. I definitely would like to familiarize myself with his channel. It's really cool. But yeah, we'd be on to finding Easter eggs and stuff like that, and we should be getting excited for season 1, but still got a ways to go for that. Yeah, almost. Yeah, I mean, I started my channel, you know, a little over a year ago, to build it around Battlefield. So I was so excited. That was really excited. Yeah, Vexer, I did it. I had so much work like ahead of time because I was like, man, I want to hit this game running. Like I'm like release week, I took it off from work and I was ready. I don't think they'll delay it any farther than they did. And we don't really have a date to know. I think it's gonna be May or June. Can you imagine like 4 more months of this game in the state that it's in? Yeah, I got my Phantom right there. Did you ever get an Arma? No, I haven't. As far as like the harder core games, Tarkov now, I played a decent amount of Squad, Insurgency. I think anything else like that. Not sure. Pretty much. September is still summer. Yeah, technically. Yeah, and you know with DICE, like a lot of times, like with DICE, like all the time they put it at the end. Like they'll tell you something and then they'll put it at the end. Vexor, I would try the Battlefield Discord maybe for the Easter egg stuff. Yeah, the exactly, Justin. That March update is it, like that is gonna be the thing. Like it's gonna be make or break right there. Yeah, I'm with you. I think they're gonna have to end it and start over at some point. Oh, really, Paranoid? That's funny. Yeah, those kinds of Easter eggs and challenges and stuff for skins, like I don't know, I don't get super fired up about like getting gold and diamond and atomic or whatever camo, like dark matter and all that stuff. I don't get all excited. Oh yeah, because you can find servers. Pretty wild. Yeah, I don't know what they got going. I don't know what they got going. Doing server restarts, like what will that do? I saw that they tweeted that, but what's the petition up to on change.org? Oh gee, it's at like 12,000. Hold on, let me show you guys this real quick. So the change.org was going to talk about this. I might make a separate video on it tomorrow just because it's so wild. I think I fixed a problem also where voice cuts out. Tom's mic was breaking up. I've always had that problem when I've talked to Tom, his mic cuts out. But yeah, I think I fixed the problem where when I transition that it cuts out. I think that the audio is good other than that. I think in a normal show it'll be cool. I'm thinking about possibly with the show, see what you guys think while I got you here real quick. And you guys are the real ones. Thinking about having a friend of mine be on the show as a co-host, and we kind of maybe have it a little bit more lighthearted and give each other crap and have a little bit more fun. He is he works a lot behind the scenes in the Warzone community, and I might try that, like having a co-host. I got the petition up on the screen. Yo, what's up, Silvio? You play Battlefield? Yeah, should I even bother? I wouldn't, man. Wait. Anybody asking about Battlefield right now, I'm straight up saying wait till the next update. Wait till season 1. I really think, unless you find it super cheap and you think if you hate it, you're not losing that much money. I think it's a waiting game until this summer. So if you don't want to, I would wait till summer if I hadn't bought it. Haunted Portal's easy way to bring back attention. Yeah. If they brought back a bunch of maps to Portal, I think people could get excited for that too. Yeah, people could get really excited. Hey, Sylvester, what's up, man? This game will receive 1 year support, like Anthony was saying about it. Yeah, I think you're right. I think at this point, especially where they talked about in the EA earnings call how small of a percent of the net bookings this game is, that I think they're gonna provide what they're legally obligated to provide based on the promotional material, and then they're probably gonna move on. So, and by the way, Sylvester, man, thanks for stopping in, dude. Appreciate it. I really enjoy our conversations on Twitter and stuff, man. Thanks for popping in. See our summer update. Yeah, I think there'll be more changes to the summer update than we think. I bet they're waiting to report until they see what they can get done, the size and scope of things that they think they can get, polished enough. Yeah. Yep, I'm with you, Paranoid. I think so too. I still can't believe we don't have VoIP. I know when they announced it and they said that it was going to be something they were working on really closely. That was pretty crazy, like, to not have VoIP. Dude, the corner of my camera is hanging over the fucking. It's hanging over the. This is terrible. This show is hanging over the web page. Fixed it. Oh man. Junk. Let's see what she said. Afraid they won't do bare minimum. Yeah. Battlefield. I'm with you, man. I won't buy it. Gotta be good. Yeah, Sylvester. Hell yeah, man. Whatever happened to the game changers? It changed into the EA Creator Network, and supposedly, based on reports, they're starting to go to the Creator Network and ask them for input, because there's some smart people on there, and I'm hoping they're truly doing that. Dude, I pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition and the chance to play it yet. Yeah, it's not too fun, man. At this point, I like we've been saying, it's super make or break. On this June update, it's super make or break. We're saying June, summer, so it could be like August, September. Dice. They like to wait. They like to wait till the last minute. Hazard Zone without, yeah, that blows my mind. A team play game like that just blows my mind. It shows you how little time they had. I think they have to add locker, right? Especially if they keep Portal into future titles. I think they'll add that stuff. Hey, sounds good, Insurgent. Take care, man. Drive safe, and we'll see you later on, dude. Thank you so much. Is 2042 even fixable? Yeah. Are they going to? Probably not. I think it is. I think if you fix the specialist, you make the 4 normal classes, tie weapons to that, put the specialist under the classes. So essentially, when you choose a specialist, you're just choosing a gadget, and they make them clearly designated as certain classes. Rework the maps, add a lot more guns, better maps. I don't think Hazard Zone's fixable at this point. It's probably not worth fixing ROI wise, but add some lore to the specialist and some better in-depth customization so you can make them look more unique based on your faction. Pretty big stuff like that. A lot of weapon changes. They got to fix the mouse input, the aim assist. Some of the weapon balancing things don't make sense. But yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I know. And I guess it's just because separate studios are working on it, right? And kind of what we talked about in the show today is like it's all coming down to who makes the decisions, and I think a lot of the decisions get made by the financial department, based on models and reports, and that's what happens. They think that it would do better on that game, and then on normal gaming platforms that the specialist thing would do better, and then they didn't want to go that route on mobile, so it's just classes, which is crazy. Still have fun playing Hazard Zone, honestly. It just needs a little bit more depth. Yeah, I think it needs a lot of depth, but admittedly I got into Tarkov, so which is like the ocean. So yeah. The first few times I played Hazard Zone, I really enjoyed it. The extracts are really fun. But like that heightened sense like that little bit of adrenaline you get when you're extracting from Hazard Zone is like I have that like an entire Tarkov raid. And I don't know, there's just a reason to keep coming back and playing it. I think Hazard Zone could probably be fixed with if there was some reason to use the currency. So if you could buy other stuff. Also, it would be cool like if you killed somebody with a cool gun, you could keep it. A little bit more from the loot end and things like that. I think it's a cool idea. I mean, I definitely commend him on the idea of not doing a battle royale, but trying to capture that feeling in a new way. But perfect input from both controller and tab and mouse tab. Yeah, like controller, like some of the controller settings affect the mouse input, and it's just like, what? What? Like how many casual folks are like can't get their mouse to work right? Like they're not gonna know to change controller settings. Like what? Wild. Yeah, laugh. Yep, I think so. So like if I had to guess, total guess, I think they're just gonna do the bare minimum over the next year and then can it move on. Yeah, I'm not a vehicle player. I'm a shooter man, infantry. But I've heard that it is rough. But anyway, guys, yeah. I think it'd be a good time to hop over to Tom's stream if you want to. I'm guessing that call probably is about half over. He's been tweeting some interesting stuff from it. You believe. So I'm guessing afterwards, usually they last about an hour. I'm guessing afterwards he'll probably have reactions and stuff like that. What's your vision of the perfect Battlefield game? Okay. All right, I'm gonna get a little controversial. All right, we're gonna get a little out there. I would love Battlefield 5 movement mechanics, engine optimization, because that game looks really good and it runs really good. I like the 2042 setting, darker, grittier. Essentially have the setting like the concept art showed. So like the AI soldiers, like how they look, have everybody look like that. Have Battlefield 4 style maps. And gunplay to an extent. A little bit more towards predictable recoil rather than random. And yeah, I mean, bring back maps and infantry gameplay. I think a Battlefield 4 with updated mechanics like from 5, updated engine and graphics with a little bit more futuristic setting, like near future. Like, I mean, what be perfect, wouldn't it? Battlefield 4 with updated mechanics is essentially how it would be my elevator pitch, right? Like Battlefield 4 with 5's movement and engine version, and those style of maps, some old, some new. Send it. Doesn't seem that hard. I feel like that's what a lot of people want. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm delusional. Titan mode, yeah, I never played it. Sadly, very sadly. But I might make a video tomorrow on the petition. I don't know if I'll make a video on the petition or not. It's interesting and newsworthy, but at the same time, I'm so tired of making negative videos. I don't like the culture it creates. Unsub, don't you do it. Don't you dare. I feel it came out when I played it a lot in the past couple years. Hey Seth, I'm with you. I'm a Battlefield 5 truther. You can go back and look, and I've said it for a long time that I enjoy Battlefield 5. I think now I've always enjoyed it, minus the 2 times they killed the time to kill. Great choice of words. I'm an excellent host. yeah, when they broke the time to kill twice, not fun, not cool, doesn't make any sense. Typical DICE action there. But like, yeah, I don't know. I've always liked it. I feel like it's my favorite movement of any shooter. I can lean. I like the slide. It gets me out of trouble. I can reload and slide and get to cover, but I can't like spam it, slide cancel, and use it as an annoying way to move like I have to in Warzone. So I'm really, I don't know. It's really hopeful that they can figure some of that stuff out, because I like Battlefield 5. Honestly, at this point, I would be down for Battlefield 5 content. Like, I know it's not in a million years, but if you took Battlefield 5, fix the guns, because the recoil is scuffed in that game. The random recoil and it not tied to the center of your screen is chalked. If they fixed that and added iconic battles from the Eastern and Western fronts, I'd be amped. I'd be super amped, man. They need a weapon custom. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, Justin, I really think I don't know if you've seen World War III's backpack system, but it's really cool. And I stand by it. The gun and soldier customization in World War III should be the gold standard, because they have a backpack system, which is essentially the plus system. But if you go into like the gunsmith or whatever in the menus, there are tons of things you can change. You can do a really cool exploded view. You can change all that stuff. And then you can pick a few attachments to keep in your backpack that you can change on the fly. So it's like the best of both worlds. Like, they absolutely fucking killed it. Like, yep, Sylvester, right on, dude. Yeah, Sylvester, amen, dude. Flip it, ship it, send it to DICE. Like, I think you're speaking for a lot of members of the community right there, including me. Oh, dude, anti-cheat's bad, but you can find a few custom servers where people enforce it. Again, one of the best things about server browsers. Yeah, Battlefield 4 wasn't great, but I feel like Battlefield 4 was more from like a buggy standpoint on launch and balancing issues and things like that. And I'm just not sure with 2042 if, even if it's working, I'm a fan of the design decisions enough to enjoy that game. Is the only problem. Oh, that would be so cool, Sapballs. People will be excited. Generally for games, I get kind of frustrated with always rehashing old content. I feel like I'm like, dude, I paying money, I want to play new stuff, I want new experiences. But Battlefield might have to do it, man. That was really cool. Yeah, I need to check out some of those older games. That would be really cool. But anyway, guys, I feel like I'm dragging on too long. I'm probably gonna let you all go. That was a really awesome chat session. I super appreciate it. I can't thank you guys for sticking around. If you're just chilling out, I would recommend definitely, there's no raid system on YouTube, where we'd go over to Tom's stream. But yeah, I would recommend checking that out and see what he has to say about that. Thankful so much to Chris McKillop, Exiled Warrior, Sad Balls with the super chat. Thanks, dude. I super appreciate it, man. Thanks for being a mod too. Shout out. Can we get a hand for Sad Balls? Mod in the chat, getting rid of the Russian sex bots. Shout out Sad Balls. Appreciate you, man. Very much. And Lightning War with the sub. Again, one last time, Discord for giving me feedback. I'd love to hear it, or comment on this VOD. I'm wanting feedback. And then also twitch.tv/crash8 for chill gameplay streams. You can also come give me feedback in there, tell me how ugly and stupid I am and how terrible the show is. It'll be just fine. Damn Russian sex bots. Pretty much the case. Sad Balls, yeah, let's swing a hammer at a Russian sex bot, ain't no thing. Yeah, guys, thank you so fucking much for being here. We will be live next week, man. I'll see you in the next one. Sounds good, Vexor. We'll see you in the next one, old son. And yeah, we'll see Monday. Stay tuned to Twitter, YouTube, whatever. I'm finding out that depending on who I have on the show, we have to be a little bit flexible with time, and we'll get it figured out. We'll see you guys on Twitch later tonight, or on Twitch tonight or YouTube videos this week, or worst case scenario, if it's that long, we'll see you guys next Monday back here on the Scope for episode 5. Who knows what it'll be? We don't even know. Thanks, Vexer, for the kind words. Appreciate it. Again, all of the support. Blows my mind. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your Monday. See you next week.